Hello and welcome to MrRelationshipMan.com, the Results with Ronnie podcast. I am Ronnie Walker, your master coach of exceptional relationships and sex. www.resultswithronnie.com, and you can also email me at ronnie@resultswithronnie.com. Today we're going to cover part 2. Do men still want marriage? Now, based on how deep I'm going to go into such a subject, remember in the last podcast, the short answer was yes. There are still men going down on one knee and proposing to the one they feel is making their life complete, someone they're dedicating their life to, for sickness and health, better for worse, etc., etc. But why couldn't all of that have been covered in part 1? Well, one, I didn't want to make it a 3-hour or 4-hour podcast. I just wanted something that you could digest and listen to, maybe ask some questions you didn't think about before. And this particular podcast is directed at women. And of course, for those of you who are in a relationship currently, if you have your significant other listening in, by all means, feel free. But again, this is just to further conversations, maybe entertain some new questions that you never thought about entertaining. I do believe in connection. I believe in relationships. And I believe when you're talking about relationships, we're talking about something that two people have. And that is what I feel, a vision. I believe in the growth of relationships. I believe a relationship is something that you just don't put on autopilot. Because life in and of itself should not be put on autopilot. You should always be striving for something newer, something greater, something courageous, whatever that may be for you. And if you're involved with someone intimately, then they should very well be a part of that, something that you share those experiences with. And that's not to say that you can't be happy single, but for as long as I've been coaching single people as well as married people, as well as, people that are in committed partnerships, there's always something to be said for people in relationships and what they define as being healthy as well as happy. And part of that, and I would dare say a big part of that, is being able to share those incredible experiences with someone else. I mean, if you look at, let's just say, a concert or a sporting event, it always looks that much more exciting when you have crowds of people, as opposed to the band or teams playing in an empty stadium. It's just sharing that excitement. It's watching something on TV amongst friends of yours, sharing those wonderful moments, and also being able to share moments that is not as positive in your life, and having someone there that cares for you or wants the best for you. So I believe in relationships. I really believe in the connection. And I believe in sharing those connections and those journeys. And for many, many years, marriage is pretty much the crescendo, the climax of relationships. I mean, that's just what it is. And this is something that's been marketed. This is something that's been touted for many, many years. Now, one could debate whether or not the marriage defines a person. I really don't think it does. I just think it's just a part of an evolution of someone's journey in this life, for however long that may be. Again, I've met a lot of wonderful, intelligent, beautiful single people. And yet, as happy as they are as single people, they will all, at some point, want to share their experiences with someone intimately. You can only do so many guy trips, so many girl trips, and again, or have as many pets as you want. But having someone there lying next to you, or someone to walk the beach with, or take trips with, intimately is just something on another level. And once you've experienced that, and let's just say it did not work out as planned, the search to replicate that is always there. So, why is marriage so important to many? Well, many believe that the very foundation of family, is the glue that holds the connection together. So we know we have a husband, a wife, 2.5 kids, white picket fence in the house, college, retirement, and traveling the world together, or maybe just a condo on the beach, or in the land that you've all purchased that's been passed down for generations in the South into old age. People believe that is a true foundation of what a family is. It's part of the legacy that you're creating for future generations. This is what marriage means to them. It also means that it makes the quote-unquote commitment official. And it's important to them. It really is important to both people. It's one thing to say, okay, well, I love you, you love me. And then there's another thing that you're going down to the courthouse, you're going for that quick night in Vegas, or you're really planning a wedding and reception and witness of however many people you both agree on, and then making that commitment before God. And that's okay. I've attended my share of weddings, and it's really, really beautiful to see people that have decided they're going to make that ultimate commitment. So we have the symbols of that commitment. You have the ring. You have the gentleman getting on one knee, or in hot air balloons, or whatever creative ways that he's chosen that he wants to let this woman in his life know that she is the only one for him. Then you have the engagement party. Then the bachelor or bachelorette party, which some of those bachelor parties I've always questioned is what sense do those make based on what they're doing. But then again, maybe I'll do a whole podcast on the bachelor and bachelorette parties. The 24 hours before they both walk down the aisle. Then building up to the wedding itself. Again, in witness of many people, or it could just be a few people, making that commitment in their place of worship, exchanging vows, and then the kiss that then starts their life together. Then the reception, everyone's dancing, toasting from bridesmen, and then you go off to consummate the vows. Now it could be someplace local, it could be some exotic island, but it's something that now you two have made it official. This is where rubber meets the road. This is where now everything is legal. And if you've shown and you've proven your eternal love, that significant other. And then you both live happily ever after, right? I mean, that is the way it normally works, doesn't it? Courtship, dating, one knee, wedding, reception, honeymoon, and then everybody rides off into the sunset happily ever after, having children. That's how the story goes. However, many listening to my voice right now know the answer to this. That's not always the case. And trust me, I've heard the stories over and over and over. Some have come away bitter. Some have come away better. For a myriad of reasons. So what I did was I wrote down a few stats to kind of add some sort of context to why men may not look to marriage in their life or look to marriage anymore. So the current divorce rate in the U.S. is 39%. Now, this is the most recent information from the census data. And based on where you get your information, you'll get anywhere from 39 to 50%. Now, 40 years ago, according to census data, it was closer to 50. And so what are the reasons the divorce rate is the rate it is? Well, as long as I've been coaching, the reasons really for the most part have not changed. It may have switched positions, number one, number two, number three, but for the most part, it's usually these three things. One, money. To be more specific, lack of money. Two, infidelity. Three, sex. Money, infidelity, sex. Now, I've yet to come across a divorce where someone is divorcing someone because they have too much money. So it's a lack of money that brings about that. Because what happens is there are arguments and things that happen that's really avoiding the money issue. I mean, how many times have you known someone, or this may be something that you have been a part of, where there's an argument with someone, and what you're arguing about really isn't the reason you're arguing about it. There's something underlying that. Lack of money is big. Very, very big. And if you look at studies, it shows that, men and women look at money different. Men look at money as power. Women look at it as security. And this also plays in a discussion when I hear men talk about why do women always talk about money, 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 thinking that it's about a come up or just shopping sprees or things of this nature. When in truth, if you really listen to women, it's about making sure that the lights stay on. They want to know that they're going to be fed. The kids are going to be taken care of. That something important like life insurance is in place, that should he face an early demise, and not to mention that women still outlive men, that the children are going to be taken care of. The house will be taken care of. The kids will still be able to go to college. And that she is not suffering financially. There's a lot of terrible things that happens to a widow in the absence of one of the breadwinners, or in a lot of cases, the main breadwinner. So these discussions about money and health care that goes on and on and on, and a lack of money is that. And sometimes these are discussions that are not had prior to the marriage. And they're not brought up till the marriage. So you have a man who spent $10, $20, $30, $40,000 on a ring or more. The average wedding in America is at least $40,000, and no financial plan in place to maintain the household in the event the breadwinner dies. And I've been in the middle of these discussions. When you're trying to plan that, and you can tell immediately that the discussion was never had prior to, because then you get the pushback. Or loss of job, things of this nature. So there's so much that goes on in a family when we're talking about a lack of money. Then you have infidelity. Well, funny enough, more men than are believed do forgive in the realm of infidelity. Now, I would argue that women are more forgiving overall, but I haven't been able to see any recent information or data concerning that, and I'm definitely looking into that. But there are a lot of situations where if the woman she was the one that was the one who cheated in the relationship, the man forgave. And then there's sex. So what I wanted to do is just read off some stats. I just wrote some notes. So I'm going to give you the lowest divorce rates, the states with the lowest divorce rates. Then I'm going to give you the states with the highest. So if we went by the 10 states with the lowest divorce rates, you have Illinois, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Iowa, Kansas, Maryland, Georgia, District of Columbia, Wisconsin, and South Carolina. Now, let me break down this stat. Just because the divorce rates are lowest doesn't mean people are getting married and they're not getting divorced. These states also have the lowest marriage rates. So, low marriage rates equates to low divorce rates. But I'm sure what everyone's looking for is the states with the highest divorce rates. So here's the 10 states with the highest divorce rates. You have Nevada, Maine, West Virginia, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Florida, New Mexico, Oregon, and Wyoming. Now, for those of you listening, I'm sure you are not surprised Nevada is the number one state in the highest divorce rates. And then when I look further into this, it pretty much confirms whatever suspicions that I had. And yes, there are many couples, young and old, that go to Nevada for the quick wedding, spur of the moment, chapels everywhere. And you can get them from Elvis impersonators or your favorite actor that, looks like your favorite actor or actress marrying you. You name it. You've seen the videos, you've seen the movies, the quickie marriage. And they wake up the next day and realize that this is not what we want to do. Why? Because then you know it's real. It all sounds good in theory, but as I've often said, that the cleanliness of theory is no match for the messiness of reality. And you really want to take a look at what this is going to entail, which is work. You're going back for the annulment. So again, no surprise that Nevada is number one. So then you have New Mexico, Oregon, the states there. Now here's the funny thing. Most people by the age of 50, 90% of them marry. So by the time, 90% of the people, by the time they reach age 50, they've married. 50% of those end up in divorce. Now for those that are going for a second marriage, there's a 60% chance that there is going to be a divorce. And it doesn't get better for those that are marrying for the third time. For the people being married for the third time, it's 73%. The average age for divorce is 30. So breaking this down, couples between age 20 to 25 are 60% more likely to end in a divorce. 20 to 25. Older than 25, it's 24% less likely that they're going to get a divorce. What's also interesting is that the higher the education, the lower risk of divorce. So again, these are just some of the divorce. And, these are things you can get from Pew Research. I was looking at the CDC. the census data, the numbers all over the place, but we can all agree that the rates themselves are pretty high. And again, the reasons for divorces, if you speak to couples counselors, therapists, divorce lawyers, the reasons vary. And that doesn't mean that the people no longer love each other, but in many cases, there was no growth. They focused on more of performance than presence. Yes, infidelity. Yes, sex. Yes, lack of money. So, ladies, what do you think men think and feel after them seeing these numbers, and part of which some of them contributed to? So go back to the reasons for divorce and the age of the man you're looking to marry. Because you and I are not the only ones looking at these numbers. So what do you think they're thinking? Are the odds in their favor? Are there odds not in their favor? Now, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to do a podcast on, do women still want to marry? Because if there's anything I've noticed in the past 5 to 7 years, is that so many things are being questioned. Religion's being questioned. Higher education's being questioned. And even marriage is being questioned. Organized religion is being questioned again. And their role in marriage. And so this is not just about men and asking them if they're willing to marry. It's also asking women the same question, because there are a lot of women, believe it or not, that feel but marriage really isn't for them. And we're talking, people that have never been married and those that have been married. It's just not something they want to consider. And I'll go into depth of that. And as a matter of fact, when I put this together, I've asked personally over 100 men. And I'm still reaching out to women of all income levels, educations, and professions, and just try to get some own little personal consensus of what they feel about marriage, and if this is something that they're still having as a goal in their life. So men looking at these numbers figure, okay, well, what's in it for them? If it's more likely to end in divorce, and if it's my second marriage that I'm considering, and others are your third, those numbers are scary. So in short, men are scared. And that's one of the reasons. Men are pretty scared. Some men want to be a forever player. For those men, well, that's just going to be an epiphany that they're just going to have to come to realize, or some aha moment to say, you know what, this is something that I want to be, I want no part of, and my options are endless, and I'm going to live forever. I'm, 65, and I still feel young, and I can still do what the young boys do. Whatever that is, God bless them. I wish them well. Now, some men believe that the institution of marriage is antiquated. Like I said, they're questioning, really. Especially if we're talking about the legal aspect of it, because they feel that in the event and dissolving of the marriage, that they're the ones who's going to get burned in the end. And why should they pay alimony for a smart, able-bodied woman who can go out now and grow your own forge your own future? Why should I do that? They have friends, they have families, and they've seen the pain and the agony that they've gone through. So they believe that the cards of marriage are stacked against them. Now, some men really don't want a wife. Some men, when you listen to them, they want a maid or a nurse. So, yeah, whether they want marriage or don't want marriage, the person they want in their life really I'm going, well, where does the love, where does the sharing experiences? They're so focused on, what she's going to do for me. But again, that's their right. And some men need therapy. I'm a strong proponent that after a major breakup, like marriage, so many years, and I would go so far as to say even the breakup of a relationship, you seek someone that can help you with that. And this is something that I wish more men would embrace. And you know what? I've seen signs of improving numbers in that men are going out there and seeking, because they now are finding some sources of people that they feel and believe can identify with them, especially when you're dealing with men in the African American community, or more specifically the black community. They want men that look like them, that they feel can understand where they're coming from in their journey and the ending of a relationship. Truth be told, men take this very, very hard. They take this as a failure. And some men will admit that maybe it wasn't a decision or the best decision at that given time. And that's a lot to admit, because they know the effects on the ex-wife, and they know if there are children involved and how that affects them. Now, there are studies that show that people who stay together because of the children is not the best thing either, because they think the children don't see the dynamics that have changed, and believe me, the children do see that. And that bears itself out in the therapy that the children are having. And they express their household and the lack of love they witness between their mom and dad. So some see this and they decide to have a divorce, at which point the man is either going to seek therapy or he isn't. But those things bear itself out in the conversations they have in the dating of someone new when they decide to get back into the dating world. And ladies, if you're not listening, you'll miss it when he's letting you know, in no uncertain terms, is he looking to get married again. Some are still experiencing the pain every month of cutting that check. Towards the alimony. Now, throughout all of this that I've shared, I still talk to and read about men that believe in one marriage. I still see examples of men getting on the one knee, or in the other creative ways in which they propose the woman that they want to spend the rest of their life with. They really do believe in marriage throughout all of that, because they believe that they've got it right this time. That what they're going to do is different than all the millions of couples that have done. Now, mind you, not all of them may have a ceremony as traditional as we are used to seeing, but there is some form of commitment ceremony that they believe in having. And of course, there are still those that have done that, paid the price, had the t-shirt, and they're done with it. So I make this a point when I speak about dating and dating effectively, that ladies, you really need to focus on what he's saying. And if you're not clear on what he's saying, ask him. If you are marriage-minded, then you need to know as soon as you can if this is where he sees himself with you, so that you can wish him well and inform him that you are looking for someone that wants to get married. That doesn't make him a bad person. It just means that's just not where he is. And respect his decision. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. If this is who you are and this is what you want, then go for it. I am not here to say whether marriage is a wonderful thing. I'm not here to say marriage is a horrible thing. It is whatever you want it to be for you. And that is something that I think is important. This is what you're looking for, and you should be happy with your decision. Don't let anybody tell you that it's this when you believe it's the other. That's totally up to you. So, go forward, whatever your journey is in terms of relationships and whatever you feel to do to make that relationship in your world official. I think marriage is a beautiful thing. If you really take the time and put forth the effort, I think it's great. And for those of you who don't believe in marriage anymore, that's wonderful too. Whatever that relationship is for you and what it is for her, as long as you're both in alignment with that and congruent in the growth and the vision for that relationship, more power to you. I wish you both nothing but success in either scenario. But I've said many times over the years, and I will continue to say, I believe in connections. I believe in intimate relationships. I believe in the orgasms and exceptional sex that you will have in that relationship. I believe in the journeys and the visions that you'll both share and experiences growing together. So, if you have any questions, comments, I'm available at Ronnie at resultswithronnie.com. I encourage you to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. If you're wishing some consultation or coaching, you can go to www.resultswithronnie.com. That is www.resultswithronnie.com. And reach out to me so that we can arrange a consultation or coaching to help you in that area of relationship transformation, dating, relationship guidance. I want to make sure that you experience the best relationship you can. Exceptional relationships, exceptional dating, exceptional sex. Again, this podcast and all the other podcasts are there to bring up questions you may have not thought to, ask yourself, share with others, and in hopes that what you're looking for is found, because I truly believe it's out there. If anyone knows me knows that I'm an eternal optimist. I'm going to find the positivity, and I'm going to find the lesson, whatever it is that you're looking to do, and even within I'm looking to do. I'm not saying it's easy being single, but I believe it is a beautiful thing. And that journey into finding that someone, meeting that someone, shouldn't be as painful as many people make it. So for those of you who are still believing where he's at, I believe he's out there. And I believe as you're putting in the work to be the wife you're looking to be, the partner that you're looking to be for your life, as well as being a part of his life, I believe it's incredible. I've seen the value that incredible women add to a man's life. I've seen the value that a man adds to a woman's life. And they've gone on to create and do incredible things. Any questions? Ronnie at resultswithronnie.com. You are listening to the MrRelationshipMan.com podcast, Results with Ronnie. I thank you. I wish you well in your journey. Until next time, have an incredible, healthy, safe dating life and relationships. Talk to you soon.